deck profile for the Adamancipator list. I was the only Adamancipator player up at the Northern Card Gaming tournament last Saturday. I went X1, unfortunately, but it wasn't a loss that I could have avoided. The Phantom Knights player that I was playing was really, really good, opened the right cards, but every other deck that I was playing against, I managed to beat. So this deck has a lot of potential. Still a really good combo deck. I know Drytrons and Virtual World are really good at the minute of the format, but these cards have the potential to make a really good first turn board or OTK go in second. So showing the deck, so you play each of the minors, as I call them. So 3 of each of the Adamancipators. So this is really good, and I opened it a lot going second. It's a free special summon. Summons itself with if any rocks on the field, and this summons if there's any Adamancipator on the field. And lastly, the only other Adamancipator card is the Bluestone or the Crystal Dragite. If you summon it off an Adamancipator card, you get to draw 1. So that is the Adamancipator lineup. Next is our Quoki Meru package. So Guardian immediately puts pressure onto the opponent, and they cannot get a chance to hand trap you, or especially Nibiru you if you get this onto the field. And then Supplier is a really good card for chain blocking. So if a rock monster leaves the field, you summon it from hand straight away, and then you also deck them by searching a Guardian as well with Supplier. So you wouldn't want to play any less than 3 of this. And of course you want to maximize on this as well for monster negates. I run the Prank Kids engine. It's very, very good. If uninterrupted, you end up with a Link 2 and another Roxy's underneath. So Prank Kids engine is very good. You get to draw a card, you banish a card less useful in your hand, and you get to draw 1. So and the Link monsters are very useful in terms of synergy with the rest of your extra deck. Then the other rock targets. So 2 Doki. I'm really thinking of maximizing this to 3. This card was fantastic throughout the tournament. If uninterrupted, it can summon basically any rock monster from your deck. And it synergizes, it can also make a Naturia Beast, ironically enough. I'll show that later, and how to do that. And also can make Herald of the Arclight, which came up twice in my last 2 games to stop me from getting Nibiru and losing the match. So they're very, very good. So I am thinking about maximizing these to 3. If I was to cut anything, it would be probably Tackle Crusader, although it did come up as well. So if it's sent to the graveyard, it Book of Moons one of your opponent's monsters face down into defense, or can bounce a face-up spell or trap, so it can get rid of floodgates as well from your opponent. So it does come up now and then, but it is less useful than the other rocks in the deck. So I run 13 non-tuner rocks in my deck. So other extenders that are not rock type is the 1 Adhara and the 3 Exceed. You do want to see one of these in your opening hand. It's an easy rank 4, or you can make Link or Synchro plays with this.
Was there any times you opened up to all 3 of them?
There wasn't, not in the tournament anyways, but it can happen and then you're just bricking there. Adhara is not so bad. If you do open this in your opening hand, it's a free special summon, so you can make Crystron Hulky Fibrax straight away, or you could use this by summoning it off Crystron and making it, but plus any of your level 4 Earths, makes Naturia Beast as well, which actually comes up an awful lot.
Yeah, Naturia Beast would be good in this format anyway.
It's very, very good. Next up really is our hand trap lineup. So we run the 3 Imperms and 1 Veiler, and the other ones is 2 Bell and 2 Ash. Not much really to explain here. Like, targeted negation is still really good at this format. Bell is arguably more impactful than Ash at the moment, just because it's really generic around 2. Also I have a second use for Bell. So this plus Doki makes Naturia Beast because it's a level 3 Earth tuner, and you summon it off Crystron Hulky Fibrax. So I have 2 uses for this card. Yeah, and it's obviously one of the most impactful hand traps at the moment as well, with your opponent's graveyard.
Would you change the ratios anytime?
I don't know if I would really, to be honest. I think because you're excavating with this deck, you really want to maximize out and seeing rock monsters. I think 2 at the moment is perfectly fine for me, and I was happy enough with those ratios. So that is hand trap lineup.
So that's all the monsters in?
That is all the monsters. I only play 5 spells. So you have your 3 signs, which is your monster reborn for the deck. Also, the interaction with that is also if you summon an Adamancipator from your graveyard, you get to choose a rock monster that you wish to target and put it on top of your deck so you can ensure an excavation. So it could be probably Roxy's to get your link play started, or perhaps Tackle Crusader to interact with your opponent. But yeah, it's very, very good, necessary for the deck. And then I really wanted to try out the Ready Fusion package.
Oh, very nice.
So I thought the fusions would actually come in handy if my opponent hand trapped me, and then I'm able to just pay 1,000 life points and then summon a monster from my extra deck to get my play started. It came up in the last match where it actually protected me from a Nibiru, ironically enough, so it saved me the match. So I thought, just because I'll show the Ready Fusion targets in a moment, but there is a great synergy with this card within Adamancipators.
Would you ever maximize it to 3?
I don't think it's more of a win more card. I don't think if I would maximize it to 3, but it's probably worth maybe even trying a 3 at some stage, just to see what it is like. Next we'll go with the extra.
Okay, let's have a look.
So we run the small prank kids engine, so we're using the link 1 and the link 2. The way they synergize with the deck as well, apart from drawing new cards and so on, is that the link 1 is a rock type, so you can summon Researcher off of it straight away as well, so if you get ashed, you can just continue your plays. Also, this is a wind attribute, which is relevant for your Raptide, so if you leave Raptide on the field, and you don't have Parallel Exceed in graveyard, if this is in the graveyard instead, you have a DD Crow effect on your opponent's turn, which it can and does come up. The other link 2 is Crystron, Hockey Fibrax. This is integral to the deck, so you'll be summoning either your Adhara or either of your 2 level 2 tuners to continue with your Synchro plays, or if you're looking to make it the Churia Beast, you'd be summoning Bell or Adhara off of this. So it's very good for combo, and then usually with these 2, you would be making an Appaloosa for 2 negates on your opponent's turn. And then I'll play one more link 3, and then access code for going.
Of course, the access code talker, yes, the OTK engine.
Definitely, like you don't want to be wasting time, and really you just want to be just killing your opponent straight away if you can. And then Unicorn obviously boosts him up as well. So
that's a spot removal, so you get rid of that one problematic card before you go for the attack.
Exactly. So that's my link package. You play 2 Xyz. Gallant Granite is your searcher. 9 times out of 10 you're going to be searching Researcher. If you do have already Researcher in your hand, you're going to be searching Seeker. So it's just a searcher for the deck. And then Abyss Dweller, still really relevant this format, turns off Tri Brigade, Phantom Knights and so on. So this card is still really good. It's a bit of a win more card, but yeah, still really relevant. And then our...
So these are the Ready Fusion targets, so let's have a look at them now.
So if you need a tuner, you summon this. This plus Doki made a Herald of the Arclight for me in my last game, so it stopped me from getting Nibiru. And in theory, if I already have a tuner on board and I have no more materials left, I can summon this and make either I can make a level 8 Synchro. So I also love the fact that Ready Fusion makes one of the oldest cards in the game. This was like created in the early 2000s, relevant to today's game. Like, I think that's absolutely fantastic, whereas it wouldn't be played before. So I thought the Ready Fusion engine is definitely worth trying within the deck if anybody else wants to try and play Adamancipators. So you play all 4 extra deck type mechanics. So now I play 5 Synchros. So Herald is absolutely amazing because it's an Omni Negate, stops your opponent from Nibiruing you. Also the fact that if your opponent does have Forbidden Droplets, they cannot use any cards from their hand to discard. as it's a floodgate effect, because any card sent from the hand or deck is banished instead, so they cannot meet the requirements for forbidden droplets. Naturia Beast is very easily made. So again, you make it one of two ways, with the Adhara or Bell, with either your level 2 or level 4s. So it's, of course, with an Imperial Order on your side of the field, it's very hard for your opponent to play, especially if they have any type of spells in their deck. And the only way to turn it off is either Super Poly, Dark Ruler No More, or Forbidden Droplets. This is a great going second card, Dragite. Not only is it a spell or trap negate if you have a water in your graveyard, of which you can either be the level 2 Prank Kids, the Dragite, or your Crystal Halki Fibrax. It excavates the top 5 cards of your deck, and it's a non-targeting bounce of that many cards back to your opponent, back to their hand. So if you bait a negate with, if your opponent has a Dragoon, for example, it can bounce it back to the extra deck, and then this plus access code is
just game.
It is game, of course. Savage is easily made within the deck, so either with Analyzer plus any level 4, or say for example your Mystical Sand plus a level 2. It's an Omni Negate, so you can, if your opponent saves an Imperm to try to turn off, for example, the Naturia Beast or a Herald, you just negate that, and it's very hard for them to break your board. And then obviously Raptite is very good. If you keep this on the field, it's a DD Crow, because you do end up with a couple of wins like the Prank Kids Link 2 or Parallel Exceed. But most of the time you are going to be Synchro summoning into one of these two for your end board. So that's the Synchro package. Next is our side. So we went with 3 Storm on a reboot. So if I was up against a control deck and I was playing against Altergeist in the tournament, I managed to top deck one of the Lightning Storms and just blew out the back row, and then attacked after that whenever he lowered his life with Judgments. And then round 3, because he beat me round 1 with Altergeist, I opened the Cracked. I opened one of each of the Miners plus Lightning Storm, and I don't remember what the last card was, but again, just destroy his traps. I don't think you can really afford too many times to discard with, for example, Twin Twisters. So I would rather just destroy multiple cards all at once with one, and then reboot in case, say for example, Altergeist have Secret Village up, so it turns these off. So you turn off their traps with this, or if you're up against Eldritch, or for example Tri-Brigade, to turn off their Revolts and Solemn Strikes. So you can just OTK from there. So that is my back row removal. Next, I went with 3 Droplets and 2 Dark Ruler. I didn't really play any hand traps within my side, because with Crossout Designator in the format, I didn't want to, for example, try to Lancia my opponent if they were playing Virtual World or Tri-Brigade, and then they just simply use Crossout to turn it off. So rather, I would just let them play, and then just try and break the board instead, and then just try to OTK. With this, I have to wait 1 turn, so if I was playing against Drytron, I just turn off the board, destroy or bounce everything that they have, and then just put a couple of negates for their follow-up, and then they can't play. So that was my thinking for using these instead. Then for going first, the 1 Imperial Order, of course. I'm just going to say, I hope this card is not ever banned. I think a lot of people want this card banned, but it's
a nice one-of, yeah.
It is a nice one-of, and because spells are getting more powerful within the game, I think there should be a card that turns them off. Then I am trying out the Crossout myself, plus Nibiru. This card, although it's a rock monster, it can easily just ruin your going first board. So I went and used Crossout to try to pair with this. Also, you just side this in if you are against a combo heavy player anyways. But I didn't get to see this all match, so I can't really say whether it's good or bad. Anytime my opponent had Nibiru, I managed to make an Arclight beforehand. But the theory was, because I was using board breakers as well, if my opponent was, I believe, thinking of either siding in Dark Rulers or Forbidden Droplets as well, I could side this in with 1 to 2 copies of each of these, and this as well, so they don't get to turn off my board, and then I can OTK them the next turn. So that was the reason why I went with crossout. I've no real comment on whether it's good or bad at the moment, but
does he have more use out of it?
I just need to see and give it more testing. So yeah, that's the deck profile, guys.